Are you a collector?
I am. I try to not be a collector.
Yeah.
Because I feel that my huge, and I do have a huge ton of stuff.
Okay, wait. Are all your records bad?
No, they're not all bad.
Okay.
Many of them are bad.
Right.
I have too many records and not enough bad. But is it like record collecting? Is the thing. I would buy the record. All right. I'd buy it used. I mean, I'm not like wouldn't stick my nose up at a used record like some collectors would.
Yeah.
I would play it 2 times. One time to see what condition the record in and decide I liked it, and one time to put it on cassette, and then it would go in the collection and would never be pulled out again until the cassette was damaged. And if the cassette was damaged, I would pull it out and I would make another cassette and I'd put it back in.
That's a collector speaking.
Yeah. But I feel bad about this because I understand it's a perversion, and I would not just collect. I'd collect everything, celebrity dirt from serial killers and artifacts and letters, and I'll say you don't need, but he's like, all right, let me show you to my Bridget the Midget shrine. Like, no, I don't need these things, and I don't need to be making shrines to Bridget the Midget. So I try to not do.
See, this bugs me a little bit as a musician who I want people to experience the music. Okay, granted, yes, you're copying the record or whatever and getting it on cassette, but I feel like I don't know. There's something in me that really wants people to not just keep things sterile and as these untouched artifacts that are, it's the museum under the museum.
I agree with you. But I tell you, with the advent of MP3,
okay,
I have totally.
Let me ask you this: how does the collectorishness reconcile with the total rawness of like the Spoets concept?
Well, like I said, I'm a noise head. I mean. I would buy the Bormadomagus record, knowing there was 150 of them in existence, and I had to have my copy. And what is it? It's 4 people 3 people samples and 3 saxophones trying to kill each other on stage, And I had this one run record live at Inroads, all right, and I didn't know where Inroads is. I have no idea. I didn't know particularly who Bormadomagus was, although the internet was just starting up, so I got some information on Bormadomagus and that sort of thing. And of course, you can see them in various catalogs. But I went to New York and all of a sudden said, "Oh, that's where Inroads was. It's like a little coffee house." And then I was talking to somebody who actually claimed to have been at that show. He said there were 5 people there. And so I mean, it's just like my show. I'd done that show before. Except they did a recording of it, made 150 copies, and now it's like this legendary, great performance.
So what's Tony Wilson's famous phrase? So that there's only 17 people at the Last Supper, or whatever. It doesn't matter how many people there were, as long as you document it.
And then what's the moral of the story? Don't get the salad. They split the bill. You'll always pay too much. Go ahead and get the steak.
Today's special, Son of God.
Because Mark Pauline is a huge influence on me.
Yeah.
I mean, the Pigeon Machine.
I had videos of them long before ever going to San Francisco. They were legendary in my mind then, and they are legendary now. And I'm glad,
if you look on my Facebook page, there's one quote on there. Yeah. It's by Mark Pauline, and it's if I can get it right. Your will to do what you want has to be greater than the world's will to stop you.
Perfectly put. Yeah. But
that's like been one of my things that I want to get Survival Research to play like in Richmond, South Carolina. And I know, well, they claim they'll come play anywhere.
Yeah, for the budget.
But it wouldn't matter because people would come.
Yeah, they would.
But what you have to have is you have to have a venue that's friendly enough.
Yeah, you do.
And I know the fire marshal in Richmond.
Yeah, well, that's a plus. But the one thing they found that's been a really good solution to doing this is doing shows in LA. You can get a film permit to do anything. You know, you can get a film permit, and all of a sudden, you know, having sex for money is suddenly legal. You know? And so they just get a film permit,
When
and
was
they
that
can
illegal?
make,
I thought that was marriage.
no, marriage is definitely legal, I'm pretty sure. But they can get a film permit, and
then, speaking of survival research, did you ever meet Jupiter X Larson?
I did once briefly when he was living there. It was actually long before he lived next door. But he was living in this survival research space, and this space that
He was their musical director.
yeah, he was also living in a space that was so short I could not stand up in it. And I mean, I'm kind of tall, but this was like, I don't know, headrooms maybe like 4 or 5 feet, like a few inches or something like that, and maybe 100 square feet or whatever. This is a universal experience that I couldn't really imagine myself up for 2 hours.
Except for the ones that
Now, one of our, it might be our 4th or 5th gig ever, and I, like, huge Jupiter Larson fan. You know, Making Small Holes, way back, the cowboy movie where they dig some holes. 4th or 5th Spokes gig, we end up opening for the Haters.
Yeah.
At the Lofty Aspirations Experimental Music Fair in Philadelphia. It was great. It was the Carolina Rainbow, which I've since met Jane Darcy in Savannah. She moved there, and she's like, I thought you were telling me about that because you knew I was in Carolina. I didn't know you were in Carolina. They're just the guys that were throwing full beers at me. Only time I really got entered in the show was Carolina Rainbow. Hit me with a full beer can right in the back of my. But
Did had more of an entrance of that than that?
no, that's the most serious.
Of all the Spokes insanity, you've never been
I'll
severely named?
I'll tell you a secret about this, and I don't tell anybody now. When they saw the girl in half, they don't really cut her in. It doesn't. They don't really cut her in half and put her back together. And the Spoic show is kind of like that. The things that I do that look dangerous on.
Yeah.
The things that are dangerous don't look dangerous.
Yeah.
It's always that sort of thing. Like the TV glass. That's generally like out in front. I mean, you could get some. I've gotten some pieces of glass in me, and I've gotten cut a couple of times. Not that dangerous.
I'm always amazed that we never got more cut too when we did TV, smash 9 computer monitors.
Fluorescent bulbs,
Yeah.
incredibly dangerous.
Why?
For some reason, we did it one time. We had a guy with one of those like World War I helmets with the thing around it, smashed it on top of it. One bulb like that cut him all the way down, all the way across there, and if it got anywhere near his eye, he was blind. They turn into tiny little razors, and they move so fast that it's just incredible. Breaking one is incredibly dangerous. Breaking a toilet. We did this at Columbus. That little, I don't know if you were you at this show or not, but there was a little bar. It was upstairs, and the place that we were going to play was Bernie's, I guess it was closed the night we were supposed to play there, and it was a pickup space. I don't know if you were involved in getting us into that space, or if it was Adam that was involved in getting us into that space. But we ended up getting into this like second floor bar, and we were just like, "Can we just play? We're here. Can we just play? We're going to bring a bunch of people in there. Oh, sure, go ahead. Set up your little band, guys." And we set up, and the place packed so far out with Columbus crazies that you could not move. And then, of course, we started playing. And we had toilets. And usually we do like an Elvis thing where we try to summon Elvis out of the toilet, which is just a thing for putting the fireworks down in the toilet and setting them off. And I don't know if we had no fireworks that day, or if we used them all, or if we decided not to do them because of how small the space was, that it was not like they'd asked us if we were going to be nice to them and not go full out. But anyway, we ended up breaking the toilet. And toilets turn into 5-pound chunks of razor. And one of them cut right through Mike's work boot, almost took his foot off. They're extremely sharp and heavy. And they fly so. And then like the grinder tar. Sparks won't set anything on fire. You can put gasoline into it. We've tried all kinds of things. I would love to light something on fire with a grinder tar. If I could figure out a way to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
That I remember we could never, we used a grinder a lot too. And yeah, sparks are
And then
great.
like grinder in your...
They look fantastic. They travel.
And they're not really dangerous. So you know, if you have a grinder in your hands, you should probably wear eye protection to keep that close from it. And you might just get one if you do it for 10 or 12 hours. But if you, like I do, put it up in your guitar, you'll run on that sucker all day.
We did have one nature.
What was that?
This was one where we were, let's see, we had a lot of metal setup for drumming, including 55-gallon drum, drumming on top of that, and putting some fuel, I think it was just alcohol on top to set that on fire while we drum on it. One guy in the band did not realize you could not pour that direct from the can. I always wondered what happened.
I did that too.
And he did it, and the whole can spewed and exploded. And this one girl lost at least 4 inches of hair. And we got it all on videotape.
Oh
you
my
could
God.
clearly see this fireball enveloping her. And beautiful. And this was at this like kind of ritzy dance club in one of their side rooms. You know, they weren't too sure about us in the first place.
And then they were sure afterwards.
Yeah, especially because we were prepared for this, and one of our guys got a fire extinguisher out and immediately put out the instruments that had caught on fire from the alcohol, and the fire extinguisher wouldn't stop. And so he had to run down the front hallway, out the front door of the club, spewing this noxious flame retardant stuff, this dust, all the way through the front of the club. And so the owner comes in, like, after a couple seconds, and chews me out or whatever. You damn people, I'm gonna sit here and set my club on fire. You ain't getting paid a cent. Get out of here. And of course, we're going. And then comes back in after about 2 more minutes here and says, I'm sorry I went off on you like that. I was just hearing the audience, they absolutely loved what they saw. It was fantastic. Here's your money. Here's an extra 20 to get yourself some drinks there. Big job.
Very nice.
So I nearly set this club on fire and got paid extra.
I got a very similar story. We were playing this place called the Elbow Room in Columbia, South Carolina. Columbia is always a tough town for us.
There's an Elbow Room in San Francisco.
It's 2 hours from where I live, so you'd think we'd like to play there all the time, but we never could get bookings and venues and all this sort of stuff there. It's very southern, and this University of South Carolina is there, and it's, the definition of backward. It's in Columbia, South Carolina. And so when we get in on this thing, one of our guys from Hilton Head, who's like an underage kid, used to come to our shows, moves to Columbia, goes to college there, and he starts doing Noise Sunday at the Elbow Room.
Perfect.
And he's doing these like theremin thing and all this, and he's like, bring Spoas. I'm like, whoever owns that club's not gonna like it. Yeah, this is going. Oh no, we got 100 people show up for anything. They love our stuff, and they've been talking to me about Spoas. Everybody knows Spoas. Bring the Spoas. Well, okay, we're coming back on a tour. We got a Sunday Open X we built today. We show up, and I was thinking the owner wasn't going to be there, but for some reason, I guess it was the press kit I sent into the free paper there in Columbia. He was, what the hell is this going on in my club? And he shows up. Now, what we had done is, our show's a little archaic. They bust a lot of CRTs. Yeah. And back then, it was like during when people were still using them. And we like put the stuff in the thing. We passed a TV repair shop. And they stacked up like dead TVs as like advertising or whatever on their porch. Like, perfect. So we dump that out. We take the van back to that place and fill the fucking van up with broken TVs, go back to the club, and then set them up in 2 walls on both sides of us, like 6 high. We've got this crazy blonde chick who's of course going to get naked during the show. We got the fireworks ready because it's South Carolina. We've just gone to the fireworks store and bought like the rockets and all this stuff, the smoke bombs. The place is like a regular rock and roll gig. we come in, we bring our amps in, and they're like liking the quality of the amps. You know, we got the Marshalls and all, so they're thinking we're a radio band. We put the stack of TVs up. They don't quite know what to think about that. The little theremin guys come up first, and they're doing the things that, well, y'all guys want to sit in with us on just put your stuff over to the side, and y'all can just like sit in on Spoets if you want to. So they get their thermins up. And we start into Dead Girls, and I don't know what it was. I lit the Rockets off first song. We had the grinders going, the TVs, the crowds jumping because they grab the bar, starts hitting those big thing of TVs, and the things are just like, no. But 2 songs in, the mics are cut. But they don't have any way to get behind to turn us off, the amp. So we're still playing. I pick up my sax.
Bring your own PA.
and we're playing with the sax, and just like cutting out. And fine, and I could see the sound man and owner arguing. He's like, like, I can just imagine, you get back there behind there, get unplugged. And every time he would come, I'd like hit him with the grinder sparks. You know? He's trying to get behind the thing. So he finally gets into the little room behind there, crawls back in and unplugs the amps. And once he's finished unplugging the amps, I guess we're 20 minutes into the show, I jump up and go, "We're the Spoets. Good night!" And the crowd just goes nuts. And I'm like, pack up. So we pack up all our stuff, and it's the same thing. The owner won't pay us because he's pissed off. Nothing's broke. Nobody's been hurt. It's a sweep-up job, which we are glad to help with. Yeah. No, we got to. So I start throwing beer bottles at the guy's head.
Yeah.
Like, intent on killing him. The bartender calls the cops. And I'm like, here. They're calling the cops. We're out of here. Boom. Into the fucking van, and we're heading on down the road. And we're in 2 cars, and the car that's going back to Atlanta with the Dick Delicious crew. They don't know what's going on. I've told them to pack up, but they're not good about obeying instructions, so they're a little behind it. Get the stuff out of here. The Spoets van's packed. We're packed well before I start throwing bottles at the owner. And here comes that little promoter guy.
Yeah.
Got my guarantee in his hand. Gone through the crowd again. When it got up that we weren't getting paid, everybody put more money. They paid to get in. They put more money in this guy's hand. He comes in, does one of these into a moving van, drops the money into my lap as we leave. And what we're told is that like a minute after we turn the corner, 6 police cars. And then it's like a thing, they write a big thing up in the paper how we're the crap of the world and just tearing up bars for fun. And then the people come back and the theremin guys, who by the way ran at the first song, they play the third, oh my God, I'm getting out of here. they didn't have the Spoets moxie to stand in to a grinder and glass shard assault and continue to play. But they wrote back and started doing like, I wish I had copies of this. I only heard like, you can save me clippings of this?
Yeah.
It's just Columbia paper. Weeks back and forth. It's shit, it's the best thing in the world. It's shit, it's the best thing in the world. It's shit, it's the best thing in the world. Owner calls me back up. Want to come play again? So we went up, we opened up for Impotent Sea Snakes, blew them off the fucking thing. We got a huge guarantee. And
wow.
So it's like, I guess, and sure enough, people did come out. It was packed out again.
Yeah. Wow. Do you have a collection of like negative press?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
So